Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 and welcome to Build Your List by the Thousands. I'd like to welcome everybody here. And, I'm here broadcasting from Boulder, Colorado. It's a little bit chilly today, but it's nice and sunny. Where are you guys from? Why don't you go ahead and leave a little note in the chat and let us know where everybody is from so we can see who we've got here today. But in the meantime, my name is Barbara Ames, and I am known as the Business Freedom Coach. And I am also the host of the Business Freedom Show, a podcast. And if it sounds like I'm a little obsessed with business and freedom, well, yeah, you got me right. I am absolutely obsessed with business and freedom and having time and money and both at the same time and in one lifetime together. But you'll hear more about that later. So today, what I want to share with you is the exact method that I used to grow my list by 3,000 people in just 90 days and jumpstart my coaching business. Now, I did this without any kind of advertising. I didn't spend any money on advertising. I didn't even have a website. I was completely unknown and I didn't know anybody. And frankly, I didn't even have a program. But as soon as I had a list, my marketing started to work. And I was able to then develop those things and start monetizing my list and quickly build a burgeoning coaching practice. So if you are struggling to get clients and get a consistent stream of income, you are in the right place today because I'm going to show you the exact same method that I used to grow my list and how you can do it too. So what did I do? I hosted a telesummit. Now, I've hosted many summits since then, and I've coached many others on their own successful summit list builds. And I've learned a lot in the process, and I've refined a lot of things. So, my intention for the next 90 minutes that we have together is to show you how you can produce a telesummit that will add thousands of ideal clients to your list and some of the most important success factors that will make or break your summit. Now, whether you're just getting started or you've been at this for a while, this is a great tool to get known quickly, to build your credibility and jumpstart your business. So, once you have that list of several thousand people underneath you, then all the programs you've been buying, all the free trainings you've been taking, all those things will start to work because now you have a list of ideal prospects that will show up for your webinars, that will read your blogs and your Facebook posts, and that you can launch your programs to. So until you have that list, though, it's like you're standing on this big empty stage and there's nobody in the audience, and you're just standing there going, hey, here I am. I can help you people, but there's nobody there to listen to you. So building your list is the first and most important step that you can take. And sadly, it's the one step that I see most entrepreneurs miss. So I'm going to teach you everything that I can in the limited time that we have together today. And I promise at the very end to show you how to take it farther. Now, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to switch over to a screen here. So at the very, very end, I have a special bonus to share with you. So this is my roadmap for a six-figure freedom business. So this is the tried and true roadmap that I have seen every successful coach and consultant or helping professional I know use to rise from obscurity to prominence in their field. Now, I've been studying this stuff for a couple of years, and I really dialed it down to just this simple roadmap. And I'm going to share it with you at the very end of the webinar. So make sure you stick around. And so with no further ado, I'm on the chat now and I will be able to answer your questions, your comments. Love to hear where you're from. And with no further ado, take it away, pre-recorded Barb. Now at this point, some of you may be wondering, what's all this fuss about a list? What is a list anyway, and why do I need one? So when I say list, I'm referring to an email list. and not just an arbitrary list of email addresses of people that you have no connection with. So when I say list, I'm talking specifically about a group of people who are uniquely suited to benefit from your services, your community, your tribe. These are the people who, when you meet at a networking event or a cocktail party and you tell them what you do, these are the folks that go, "Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. I could really use that someday." Yes, someday is the operative word here, because the vast majority of people that you meet that are great candidates for your services are not typically ready to throw down a credit card the first time you meet them, right? That happens really infrequently. So if we flip it around, imagine you like to get massage and you're at a networking event and you meet a massage therapist. Well, you find them pleasant enough and you like what they say about their approach, but unless you're in pain right that very minute, you probably aren't going to book an appointment right then and there. Now, if that massage therapist is smart, she'll get your information and she'll put you on her list. She'll add you to her community of followers, of people who have stood up and said, "Yes, I'm interested." And how does she know they're interested? Because they gave her their email address. Doing so implies consent for her to communicate with them. Now, if she's a savvy businesswoman and on her game, she will have learned how to nurture her list. She might have an engaging newsletter that she sends out regularly, or maybe she does videos that give her clients and prospective clients information that she knows they'll find useful. Or perhaps she does webinars to teach her tribe things she knows that they're burning to learn. Now, if you have engaged in any of these activities or purchased a course to learn how, and you don't have a list of at least 500 engaged ideal clients, you're putting the cart before the horse. And marketing doesn't work unless it's in the right order. This is the biggest trap I see aspiring entrepreneurs fall into. The one that I myself fell prey to, and I see it as the number one cause of frustration and discouragement. Now, there's so much hype out there about blogging and doing webinars, social media, writing a book, or podcasting, but until you have a list, none of these things will work. And the first thing you need to do before any of those nurture strategies will work is to build a community to nurture. All right, now getting back to you and our massage therapist. So you've met someone that resonates with you, but you don't have a burning need at the moment for a massage, at least not burning enough yet to separate you from that hard-earned cash of yours. Then one day, maybe a week after meeting her, maybe a month, maybe 2 years, you wake up with a horrendous kink in your neck. Now you're ready to pull that credit card out, aren't you? And if she's done her job of continuing to stay on top of your mind by sending you regular emails that engage you and at the very least don't make you want to unsubscribe, you'll be quite likely to call her, won't you? In fact, you'll probably be delighted to have a need for her because the whole time you've been reading her emails or watching her videos, you've been getting to know her and she's been building your trust. So let's look at some of the benefits of a list. Now, if you've ever hosted an event or a webinar and have been disappointed by the turnout, or if you've ever written an article or posted something on social media and didn't get very many views, then you're probably starting to get how important a list is. Now, I'd like you to imagine just for a minute the difference it would make to have 3,000 people to announce your webinar to, or launch your program, or a book, or a podcast. I'd like you to imagine how much easier it would be to fill a webinar if you had 3,000 people to announce it to. Or what about 5,000 or 10,000? How many more books do you think you could sell? How many more listeners to your podcast? Another benefit of having a list that many don't think about is market research. If you aren't clear who your target audience is or what your messaging is, building a list is actually the quickest way to figure that out. Now, once you've attracted several thousand people to you, turn around and ask them, "Who are you people?" The answer may surprise you, and I assure you it will be different from anything you could drum up in your home office, even with the help of a business coach. And if you're struggling with your messaging, just ask your audience, "What are you struggling with?" And they will tell you exactly how you can help them, and your messaging is the words that they use. When you have a list of thousands, you never have to worry about where your next sale will come from. You'll actually have more time to enjoy doing the things that you love the most. And for most of us, that means more time serving our clients, not chasing around town looking for people who may or may not want our services. Because it really is a numbers game. Going back to our massage therapist example, the more people she has on her list, the more people at any given time are going to be ready for her services. Right? Doesn't that make sense? So if you've been working hard on your marketing and you're still struggling to get clients, building your list is the cure. A list will enable you to always have something to tap into. Someone will always be ready to purchase, so you won't suffer from the peaks and valleys that plague so many entrepreneurs. And if you're just starting out and you're not sure yet what your niche is, building an audience is the fastest way to find out. Simply build an audience around a topic that you're passionate about. See who you've attracted and ask them what they need. It's the fastest way to jumpstart any business and will bring you instant clarity. Building a list is for you if you're looking to build a freedom business, because a list will enable you to work anywhere and create income on demand anytime. Building an audience has enabled me to not only make money and in a very short amount of time, but to finally take time for myself. To, in my 50s, finally start to relax and enjoy my life. And trust me, it's not because I saved up a big retirement cushion. I had nothing. And I can't tell you how great it feels to be able to say yes to most of the things that I want to do, to have the time to do them and not have the constant worry about money coloring everything. So if you've lost your retirement in the economic crisis, or like me, you never got around to saving one, don't worry, because once you know how to build an audience and then connect with that audience and convert those prospects into customers, you can basically create income on demand anytime from anywhere. So today, I'm going to show you the first step in that process, and that's putting a foundation under your business. And the best and fastest way to build your list so that you can not only create an income that gives you options, the option to stay home or to travel, to rent, to own, to pay off debt, put kids through college, but also the time freedom to enjoy your life. Now, I know that some of you are looking for that same kind of freedom, and some of you are just wanting the time to raise your kids yourself. Now, if you have kids and a job, you are juggling a lot. And I just want to acknowledge you for listening to that voice that's telling you that there's got to be another way, and for trusting that voice enough to take the time to be here today. Because sometimes it just takes partnering with the right mentor, somebody who can show you step by step the process to put things in the right order for you to achieve your dream. When I look back, my life seems to be a study of time and money, and how those two things seem to live in parallel universes that never seem to be able to intersect. You know what I'm talking about here? Well, when I was younger, I had lots of freedom. I had fun experiences and friends and time to do things that I could afford to do because actually I was dirt poor. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't work because I did. And I worked in all the industries that I loved, music and then fitness, because I was following my passions and I believed that the money would follow, except that it never really did. So finally in my 30s, I got tired of being poor and I started wanting things like, a house and a car, the American dream kind of stuff. So I decided to switch gears and go for the money. I started getting jobs like waiting tables, office jobs, anything I could get with a regular payday that I could rely on. And then one day I had the opportunity to start a business. It was a children's toy company. Now, I went way out on a limb and borrowed the money to purchase a little startup company that made cardboard building bricks. And I worked and worked and worked and learned everything I could about business and marketing and grew that little company to 7 figures in just a few short years. And I thought I had made it. I'd found my calling. I'm a business person. I was making money. I could finally afford the house and the car. I could eat out in nice restaurants. Whew, I almost felt like an adult. And then I got a wake-up call when the economic crisis hit. And I ended up having to sell that business for next to nothing. And the stress of losing that business and my income and everything that I associated with success put me in the hospital where I almost died of acute adrenal failure. Talk about a wake-up call. And that's when I realized that I had just spent the last 13 years of my life working that business, making money, yes, but without any kind of life outside of that business. I was working so hard that I had let life pass me by. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard of a corporate slave? Well, you can create a business that enslaves you just as much as any corporation can. And suddenly, success didn't seem very successful anymore. So here I was again with lots of time, but no business and no money. And so I became obsessed with creating a freedom business. Now, I had learned a thing or two about business and marketing with my old company, and I knew a thing or two about the internet. So how hard could it be, I thought, to use the internet to create a business that would give me the time and financial freedom that I was seeking? Well, I started following all the gurus and learning about all the things that many of you are learning about, taking this course and that, blogging to the stratosphere, making videos that no one but my closest friends were watching. Well, at least they said they were watching, posting on Facebook, launching webinars and programs and ebooks to crickets. There was just nobody out there listening to this stuff. And I was truly spinning my wheels, just like so many of you are. So months later, I had no more than a trickle of income to show for my efforts, and I'd reached the end of my savings, and I had to make a decision. Get a job, which after running your own business for so long is pretty much like a jail sentence, or get help. So this dream of creating a life where I had both time and money, and at the same time, was just too big for me to give up. So I found a way to scrape together enough money to hire a mentor, someone who had achieved what I was wanting and who could walk me through the steps. It took a leap of faith, all right. I had figured everything out on my own in my old business, though in hindsight, I can't say that reinventing the wheel had been the easiest nor the fastest route to success. And I'm kind of running out of time here, folks. So hiring that mentor actually turned out to be the best thing I have ever done, because she showed me what I was doing wrong quickly. She showed me how to put all the pieces that I'd been gathering together and in the right order. And as soon as I did, everything changed. Now I have found the key to creating a business that supports my lifestyle instead of trying to fit my life around a demanding business. And it's a whole new paradigm. and one that's not that difficult to achieve. You just have to have the right pieces, and you have to have them in the right order. All right, so now that we've established that the right order for your marketing is to build your list first before anything else will work, let's take a look at an overview of what I'll be sharing with you today. So first, we're going to talk about what a telesummit is. So some of you might be scratching your head going, I'm not quite so sure. There's telesummits, there's teleseminars. I'm not sure what that is. So we're going to talk about what a telesummit is. Then we're going to go over the benefits of building your list by hosting a telesummit. It really is one of the most powerful, fastest ways to build your list and get known in your industry. Then I'm going to share with you the secret sauce, the top things you need to pull off a successful telesummit. And it's not really as difficult as it might sound. Now, if all that resonates with you and you want to explore this concept further, after that, I have the perfect next step for you. And I'll be wrapping up this section of the webinar before going into the Q&A with a very special bonus, the blueprint for creating a six-figure freedom business. So stick around because I'll be sharing with you the exact roadmap that just about every coach, consultant, healer, and guru that you can think of who have successful 6- and 7-figure online freedom businesses has used. Okay, so what is a telesummit? Well, a telesummit is simply an online multi-speaker event that features a series of experts who are speaking on a specific topic, like perhaps living with diabetes or adopting a raw food diet or life after divorce. Now, the host of the telesummit finds and then interviews various experts on the theme of the summit. Typically, the interviews are pre-recorded and delivered to people who asked to join the summit. So these people have received an email announcing the summit, and they've opted in or entered their name and email address and requested to join. Now, the first time I came into contact with a telesummit was actually as a participant. So I think this is a good example to show you what a telesummit is from the side of the participant. So my husband and I were, shall we say, working on our relationship, and I received an email about a relationship summit that featured interviews with top experts in the relationship field. Well, of course, this caught my attention, and I opted in. So every day for about 10 days or so, I received an email with that day's interviews, and they were great. My husband and I listened together and we learned so much, and we got lots of great tips and tools to use, and we started seeing things through a different lens. Now, because each interview was available for just a day or so, it became like an event for us. So something to look forward to coming home to and listening to together. I had no idea at the time that this was a list build for the host. You see, the email that I received announcing the summit was from our marriage counselor, who was one of the speakers that was featured on the summit. So, of course, I was on her list. So she sent me and everybody else on her list an email to promote the summit. Now, when I opted in, I was now on the list of the host of the summit. And as my husband and I listened to each interview, we got to know the host as you do with the host of a favorite radio or TV show. And when he started sending us his newsletter, we recognized him and read it. And as he took us down his sales funnel, offering us tips and tidbits and more valuable information, we became prime candidates for his services because we felt like we knew him, we liked him, and we trusted him. Now, that all started with the telesummit. We had no idea who he was before that, and he had no list. Pretty cool, huh? So it gave him exposure and an audience. You see, the experts that he gathered together to interview already had substantial lists. Now, the requirement for them to participate was that they promote the summit to their list. Now, why would the experts agree to promote his summit, right? He's kind of a nobody. because they want exposure to the other experts' audiences. You see, list building, reaching new audiences, is something you will always be engaged in and a major part of any successful entrepreneur's marketing. So each expert offered a free gift at the end of their interview. And when a participant opted in to receive the free gift, now they're added to that expert's list, and that expert can now nurture the relationship with their newsletter, blog post, or video. It's like a big, giant cross-pollination party and a giant win for everyone. It's a win for the host, who may not have a list at all. He's leveraging his time and the effort to put the thing together, and he ends up with a list of thousands. It's a win for the experts because all they have to do is invest an hour or so of their time for the interview and send a couple of emails to their list, and they end up getting exposed to the other experts' audiences and growing their list. And, of course, it's a win for the participants who get hours of free, really valuable information on a topic that they're interested in and introduced to experts they probably wouldn't have heard about, people who may end up helping them with some amazing shift in their life. So let's look at some of the benefits of doing a list build by hosting a telesummit. Well, first of all, the telesummit list build model is a tried and true blueprint that has been proven over and over again to work. As long as you follow the blueprint, whether you're a newbie or you're experienced, you can build a list of 2,000 to 4,000 people in 60 to 90 days, and many times even more than that. Now, it's perfect for people just getting started who don't have a list because by and large, you don't have a lot of money when you're just starting out. And so in this model, you're leveraging your time. But there are also many successful entrepreneurs who continue to use this model as their main list building activity year after year. Now, have there ever been people who have hosted a summit and not built a list into the thousands? Yes. And every single time, it's simply a matter that they didn't follow the steps or they left out some really important piece. It's affordable. The major investment for this method is your time. Now, you'll probably want to hire a VA to help with some of the background technical stuff and invest in some really low-cost technology, which I'll talk about in a sec, but that's really about it. And as with any strategy or blueprint, you'll get the most bang for your buck and ensure your success if you have a coach or a mentor walk you through it. But that's probably something you want to consider for your business anyway. Now, this is a great way to position yourself as an expert among experts. Another name for this is the reporter model. So when Oprah invites guests to be interviewed on her show, she's seen as an expert among experts. You are automatically positioned as an expert right along with the experts in your field that you are interviewing, so you get a huge credibility jump right out of the gate. And this is a great way to cultivate relationships with JV partners. Partnering is something that I don't hear talked about anywhere near as much as it should be, because the two fastest ways that I have ever seen anybody grow their business is one, building a list, and two, finding the right people to partner with, partners who are farther along in their business and willing to collaborate with you to help you grow your business. They're out there. You know, let's face it, it can be difficult, not to mention lonely, to grow a business by yourself. And this is a great way to immerse yourself in an industry that you already love and meet and cultivate relationships with those potential joint venture partners who can mentor you, help jumpstart your business, and offer immediate affiliate income opportunities. And this is a great way to receive mentoring and share wisdom. You know, I feel like the most engaging summits are around a theme that the host is more than curious about, but around a topic that the host struggles with as well and is very passionate about. And when that is the case, by hosting, you will receive such amazing wisdom from the experts you interview that you'll end up learning so much yourself while you're giving to the community, the audience you've attracted who are also struggling with the same problems. All right, so what does it take to host a successful telesummit? As with any marketing, the content and the way you communicate it is key. So it's important to have a really compelling theme that will attract thousands of your ideal clients. And you don't want to spend all that time and effort on a topic that doesn't really get people excited. And by and large, topics that get people excited are things that they are struggling with in their own life. So perhaps divorce or overeating or diabetes, things that people are looking for solutions for. Now, you want to pick a theme that's broad enough that you can invite experts to speak who would make a good adjunct to what you're offering, to your services. So, for example, let's say you're a web designer. Well, a theme about creating WordPress blogs might be too narrow. The experts that are likely to participate in a theme like that would probably be direct competitors. So a better approach would be to look at what your ideal client is trying to achieve. So if you're a web designer, for example, your ideal client is probably interested in branding. So a better theme might be branding for success or some such thing, so that you would become the expert in website development and you would invite experts in other fields like graphic designers, copywriters, etc., that could talk about all the different aspects of branding. Now, these speakers would make great JV partners in the future. So you see how that works? But you can miss a huge opportunity with something as simple as the theme and the title that you pick. But when you get those things right, that's what allows you to attract thousands of your ideal client who are struggling with the exact same problem that you are offering a solution for. Okay, as far as the expert speakers that you invite, the magic number seems to be about 20. You want to have at least 20 experts who already serve audiences of your ideal client. So these experts need to have lists themselves in the thousands. Now, not every expert in an industry is a good candidate. Just because they've authored a book doesn't mean that they've focused on list building. And if they don't have a list, they can't help you. Now, a Facebook following doesn't count. We've seen over and over again that Facebook followers just don't convert into telesummit participants, not anywhere near as much as people on an email list do. Now, the experts that have large lists understand the process. They get it. You won't have to educate them. They've done hundreds of these things before, and they understand the value of collaboration. They get it. They're set up to send and receive the technology and to make the whole thing work. Now, at this point, I usually get a question that's something along the lines of, well, why would these famous people want to be interviewed by me? I'm a nobody. Maybe I don't even have a website, or I don't have a following. This is a real common concern. And I can tell you that these experts don't care. They get it. They have to be list building all the time in their business anyway. And they started out at some point, and most of them started out the same way, by hosting a telesummit with no list, no website, no fame, no glory. So they get it. And what they're doing is they know that you are leveraging your time by putting this thing together. And what they're getting is the exposure to the other experts' lists. So nobody is expecting you to be this famous expert in the industry with some incredible website and a huge client base. They really aren't. Most of the time, they're just grateful that you are willing to invest your time into putting this event together. Okay, so systems and technology. Now, you're probably getting a little nervous about that. And I'll tell you, it's really not that big a deal. There's not a whole lot that has to go into one of these things. You'll need an opt-in page and something to host the opt-in page on. So that's simply a page that a potential participant will go to watch a short video explaining the theme and inviting them to sign up. Now, there's two very popular platforms that are used for this. One is Lead Pages. Now, Lead Pages is an all-in-one solution. It's a very, very easy to use templated system where you can go in and create an opt-in page or a sales page literally in minutes, and it's hosted right on Lead Pages' site. It's about $30-40 a month, something like that. Now, another solution is OptimizePress. This is a WordPress theme, or it can also be used as a plugin, and it's meant for marketers. It's designed exactly to create these kind of pages, and I think it's about $100 or so. Now, to use OptimizePress, you'll need to have WordPress, which is free, but you might need to hire a VA to help you set up, and you'll have to have hosting for it. So there are tons of hosts out there, and they're very, very inexpensive, from as low as $5 a month. You can get hosting for your opt-in page. Now, you'll also want a way to track the clicks and opt-ins that you get to your opt-in page to make sure that your marketing language is hitting. Now, for that, you can use Pretty Links, which is a free WordPress plugin. And again, you might need some help from a VA to help you set that up. Now, as far as conducting the interviews, you can do a video interview or an audio interview. And if you're doing video or audio, probably the most common solution is Skype, which of course is free, but then you'll need a way to record the interview. And I recommend Call Recorder for Mac, which is just $30, a one-time fee. And there's comparable options for a PC that are priced the same. Now, you can also use Google Hangouts, which is free as well, but that technology can sometimes trip people up, including your expert, who are not familiar with it. So that's something you want to make sure you're not using that unless you are really familiar with it. Now, in terms of hosting your video, you can host the video on Vimeo and YouTube. Both of those are free, so that you don't have to bog down your own server, your own host. Now, if you're doing audio only, you can also do audio only on Skype, but a lot of people also use Instant Teleseminar. And I believe that's about $47 a month, something like that. That will allow you to record an interview over the telephone. Now, there's a multitude of other call recorder softwares that are out there, softwares as well as apps, for iPhone. And it's very easy to find something. You just need to get a decent quality two-way recording of a telephone conversation if that's the way that you want to go. Now, the last thing you'll need is an email service provider like MailChimp, which is free, or Aweber or GetResponse. And this is so that you can collect people's email addresses, because that is your list. So truly, that's about it for the technology. And as you can see, it's nothing that adds up to a whole bunch of money. I know a lot of you are do-it-yourselfers and have already created your own WordPress site and have messed around with an autoresponder and stuff like that. So there's nothing that's any more difficult than anything you've already done in that regard. And if you haven't done that, or if you're just a total technophobe, it's fine, because there are VAs out there who are doing these all the time. The technology is very simple, and it really doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to hire a VA to help you with the back end. In fact, there's a lot of benefits in doing that, to be honest with you, because your time is better spent on other things. Now, I've promised you 5 pillars of a successful telesummit, and I always deliver on my promises. So number 4 is a well-coordinated launch strategy. Now, this is critical to a successful summit. A summit is a launch, just like any other launch. So what you want to do is pick a date and stick to it. And once you have your summit start date, all your other dates will fall into line. And you want to stick to those deadlines, because this signals to your partners that you are serious, and to your new audience that you are trustworthy. Now, you'll want to have a well-timed sequence of messages going out to the audience, and you also want to make sure that your partners get everything that they need in a timely fashion. Look, the good news is that simply delivering on these promises will skyrocket your credibility and help you stand out among the crowd, because sadly, most people do not. And the last pillar is where I see most entrepreneurs making the biggest mistake, and that is in expert management. Communication is key with your experts. Getting them the promo copy on time, staying in touch with them, making sure that they know when to promote and that they actually do it. This is where I see so many summits fail and where so many people get disappointing results. And it's just as simple as communication, staying in touch with, and building those relationships with the experts that are participating in your summit. So as you can see, there's not a lot that makes up the difference between a really successful summit and one that isn't so much. But there are some distinct things that will make all the difference in the world. All right, so you're sitting at your computer, you've been watching this webinar, you've heard my story, and you know that telesummits are the fastest way to grow your list, and that the only thing standing between you and a steady stream of clients is that following of loyal subscribers. So now I want to share with you the 6-figure freedom blueprint that I promised you earlier. This is the roadmap that every multi-6 and 7-figure coach has used to create financial and time freedom. Now, there's just 3 things that all successful entrepreneurs have to master, but you must master all 3 of these to create business freedom. All right, you ready? The first thing is building an audience. And today we talked about the fastest way to do that. Now, the second thing you need to master is nurturing your audience. You must master the fine art and science of connecting, learning how to create engaging content and inspiring people to take action, learning how to create webinars and video trainings and other vehicles that will fill programs and workshops. Now, once you've mastered that, the third and final thing to master is simply conversion, converting prospects into clients or the enrollment conversation. Now, if you're someone who really has something to contribute, if you are dedicated to adding value while creating a life of joy and freedom for yourself, you're probably wondering how you can get started building your list by hosting a telesummit. Well, I have got really great news for you. I've created a 22-week advanced training experience for you called the Instant Tribe Success System, where I'll break down each component of the telesummit, walk you step by step through the whole process, then teach you how to connect with your new audience, and lastly, how to convert them into clients. That's right, the whole enchilada. The 3 skills that you need to master to create business freedom. So this program is specifically designed to help you build a list by hosting your first telesummit, create authority, and master the skills to engage and enroll ideal clients, all in just 22 weeks. So if you want to get a highly responsive list, create a loyal following, build massive goodwill, and enroll clients with ease, all in less than 6 months, this program is specifically for you. And here's how we'll do it. In the first 14 weeks, I will walk you through step by step your very first telesummit list build. At the end of that time, you will have a bright and shiny new list of thousands of loyal followers. So for the following 4 weeks, you'll learn how to connect with and engage your new tribe. Then in the final 4 weeks, you will learn a method for converting the most engaged prospects into high-paying clients with ease and without feeling salesy. Now, you'll be doing this by using the simple and very effective systems that I've created that nobody else has to pull off a flawless event without driving yourself or your family crazy with overwhelm. Now, this is even if you're a total technophobe, if you're just getting started in your business, or if you've never done anything like this before. It doesn't matter. I have helped many, many others in similar situations accomplish this in the past, and I know that you can do it as well. But this is so you can attract the people who are most likely to purchase your services and position yourself as an authority. Now, in phase 2, you'll be learning how to write email subject lines that get opened and content that gets your community to take action so you can fill your webinars and workshops. We'll do a deep dive into creating a webinar that converts so you can fill your programs and retreats. And then in phase 3, you'll master the enrollment conversation so you can easily enroll high-paying clients into private and group coaching programs so that you can start enjoying your life without spending all your time chasing after prospects. Now, mastering these 3 skills will give you a consistent, reliable, and predictable stream of income so you will never have to worry about money again. Now, you're going to be getting the same exact system that I used to add 3,000 people to my list in my very first list build, and that I have since perfected and helped numerous others do as well. All right, so by now you're probably wondering about the price. Well, this isn't some inaccessible guru's home study course that you purchase and put up on the shelf. In this course, I am holding your hand and walking you through every step of the process myself. And besides all the usual, a 10-module success guide, instructional videos, extensive samples and templates, this course includes weekly Q&A, training, and accountability calls. Now, I've seen many 6 or 8 week courses race through just the telesummit process alone and charge $1,000 or more. In this course, I'm going to be doing some serious hand-holding, and you'll get the complete support and training of not only hosting your first summit, but in phase 2, I'm including a free 3-hour virtual mastermind on webinar mastery. This is where you'll learn how to pull off a flawless webinar that converts like crazy. Now, that training alone typically sells for $1,000 or more. And phase 3 includes a 2-day live mastermind in Boulder, Colorado, where you will get to meet in person your fellow Instant Tribers, and together in a safe and nurturing environment of your peers, you will master the enrollment conversation. Now, this mastermind alone typically sells for $1,500. So each one of these phases is typically sold as a home study course without anywhere near the support and hand-holding as you'll get in this course. And I've seen each one sold separately for well over $1,000 each. But with the Instant Tribe Success System, I have put these all together, everything that you need to create business freedom, and you'll get all 3 of these components for just $300 down and 4 payments of $495. Or if you want to save even more, you can make just 1 payment of $1895. But it gets even better. So register by midnight on January 10th, and I'm including a 3-hour VIP day with me, where we will do a deep and customized dive into your business. We can work on an ascension plan. We can work on clarity on your marketing, your messaging, your ideal client, your niche. Wherever you need the most help, these sessions are completely transformational, and they're a $600 value. But this bonus goes away after January 10th. Now, I want you to know that I'm limiting enrollment in this course to just 30 people because I want everyone to have the support and personalized guidance that they need to be successful. So here's what I want you to do next. Click on the Register Now button, or you can type in instant-tribe.com, choose your payment plan, And you'll immediately get an email with the video introduction, the first 2 modules, the timeline generator, and the summit organizer, as well as our call schedule, so you can start working out the date for your first summit. Now, our first call is on February 10th, and I'm going to press everyone in that call to commit to a summit start date. So you'll be prepared and ahead of the game with these materials now. Now, if you're not ready to get down to business, roll up your sleeves and do the work it's going to take to get your business to that next level, then this course is not for you. But if you are, you will receive all the help and support you need to get there. That is my promise to you. So look, this is an incredible deal for those action takers who are ready to make this all happen now. So if you want to build a list of loyal followers in just 12 weeks, create authority in your field, learn how to engage, and master a system that will produce income on demand, and all in just 22 weeks, then I want you to click on the button now or go to instanttribe.com and register for this program that was designed for you. And if the discount and the bonuses aren't enough to push you over the edge, I have something else for you. On top of the amazing course material and the great deal, I want you to understand that you're protected by my You Must Be Happy 30-day guarantee. So if for whatever reason you are not happy with this course, your investment will be refunded completely with no questions asked, and you can even keep the course material. Because if you're not happy, I'm not happy. So you've got 30 days to check it out and the rest of your life to implement and reap the rewards. So if by the end of 30 days you decide it's not for you, let me know and I'll give you a full refund. No questions asked, and you can still keep everything. Now listen, let me wrap this all up for you. I've given you a lot of stuff, so to be clear, first of all, I'm giving you the 22-week Instant Tribe Success System. I'm also including the timeline generator and the summit organizer. These are 2 things that you won't find anywhere. I'm also giving you Webinar Mastery, which is the equivalent of a full-blown course on creating webinars. And you're also getting the live 2-day mastermind in Boulder, Colorado, where you'll have the opportunity to learn the enrollment conversation and practice with your fellow tribe members. Now, on top of that, if you register by January 10th, I'm giving you a free VIP coaching day with me. That's a value of $600. And to be clear, you're getting all of that for just $300 down and 4 easy payments of $495. Or you can save an additional $385 by making just 1 payment of $1895. And of course, you're protected by my You Must Be Happy guarantee. This is a really incredible value, and you can get it today at instant-tribe.com, and I urge you to do so, especially considering that the doors will close once and for all on this course on February 9th. Now, the next time I'm offering this course, I won't be limiting it to 30 people. So this is your last chance to get in a course that will give you everything that you need to master business freedom, and in a boutique setting with just 30 people. But like I said, the doors are closing once and for all on this course on February 9th. And the early bird bonus of a VIP session with me valued at $600 goes away in just 3 days from today, if there's even availability, because I'm limiting this course, as I said, to 30 people. So look, you've watched this entire presentation and you want a list of engaged prospects to market to, otherwise you wouldn't be here. And listen, you're still here, so you know this is an excellent value. So take advantage of this incredible discount, the amazing bonuses, and the can't lose guarantee now. You have absolutely nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. All right, my friends, So now I'd like to invite you to stay for my favorite part of every presentation, and that's the live Q&A. Hello, hello. I'm back and ready to take some questions. I see in the chat that we have a couple of people that are already thinking about their themes for their summit, which is awesome. And I'd love to do some coaching around that for them. But before we launch into that, that was a whole lot of information. I'm just wondering if anybody has any questions about the telesummit itself or how it works or why it works. All right, so Joanna's asking, how do you approach the experts? And the answer is really simple. I like to start out with an email, just a very simple, short email with a really simple subject line saying, hi, I want to interview you. And it's good if you can add a little bit of a personal touch to the inside of the email, a little bit of, oh, I was on your website and I see that you are an expert in blah, blah, blah. And so that's why I'm reaching out to you, because I'm hosting a summit on blee, blee, blee. And that would be a really good, I think you'd make a great expert for it. So personalize it a little bit, but keep it super short. So it's basically just researching the experts and then reaching out to them that way. And, of course, just a certain percentage of, maybe 10% or so will even respond. So it's a numbers game. You just keep combing through till you get more and more and more. And you build it up that way. But it's really not that bad. One of the things that I help coach people through in the program is, doing just that, is helping, to just stay on it. Just don't quit. A lot of people, they'll reach out to maybe 10 experts and say, well, I only got one response. Yeah, great. You got a response. That's awesome. But that's not the time to quit. That's the time to keep going. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Joanne. And let's see. So Daniel's asking a question. Do you help in choosing a theme or in developing a theme to become compelling, like the example you gave in your presentation? Absolutely. And in fact, we're going to do a little bit of coaching around that right here with Lisa and Rena, who in the chat had expressed some ideas about potential themes. So who wants to go first? Who wants to be on the chat chopping block? Rena or Lisa? Go ahead and type in there. Whoever gets there first, then I'll look back. Okay, so Rena wants some coaching around the theme. So I'm hoping that this will help everybody. So Rena, you were thinking about a theme about changing your lifestyle because that will change your life. People who have problems with overweight and diseases that stem from overweight. Okay, so Rena is a health and wellness coach. So your coaching is around helping people change their life or their lifestyle. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so I'm just going to go forward as if I'm assuming that that's what you're saying. So really what I would focus on the most, because that's a solution that you could apply to any number of audience, right? So helping somebody make a lifestyle change. So for sure, as a health and fitness coach, that is a solution that is going to help somebody trying to lose weight. It's a solution for somebody who's trying to quit smoking. That would be a solution for somebody who's trying to stay motivated in their business. It's a solution for somebody who wants to take up a meditation practice, right? So changing your lifestyle, all those things. Yeah. So when they change their lifestyle, they're changing their lives. So yes, and there is weight loss. Yes. So that is a solution. But what I'm saying is that solution will apply to a huge, broad, okay, motivation is good too, but the solution will apply to a broad number of people in a broad number of situations. So what you want to do here is you want to try to sort of narrow that down a little bit to the people and the exact problem that you're solving. So since you're a health and fitness coach, then probably the people that you would be going after, health and wellness. I'm assuming that the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest one to go after, especially this time of year, would be people who are trying to lose weight. Certainly, weight loss entails a huge lifestyle change. Absolutely. So, people who are trying to lose weight are keenly aware that they need to change their lifestyle. So your theme would be something around losing weight. So what I would do is have the topic be around weight loss. So your theme is focusing on the problem. You're talking about the solution. Okay, I'm going to invite you here. Rena?
Yes.
Beautiful. Wow, check us out.
Hey.
Yay. All right. So Rena, what I was just saying, and cut me off if I've got it completely wrong. It's so hard to have a one-sided conversation. This is going to be a lot easier. But what I was just saying is that your summit theme will be focused on a problem that people who might be interested in your services or would likely be interested in your services would be experiencing. Now, there will be multiple solutions for that problem. You're just offering one.
So what I'm saying is, in order to change the multiplicity of problems, one has to change what's in one's mind, and to change what is in one's mind is a change in and of itself.
Right. And so what you're talking about there is the solution. This is how you change your lifestyle. So for your summit theme, you don't want to focus on the solution. You want to focus on the problem. So the problem in this case can be multiple, right? It could be some, you could be saying, okay, so here's your problem. You can't, no matter what you do, you can't seem to lose weight. So the theme of your summit might be the what to do when everything fails, weight loss summit. Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. All right. So you got that?
Right.
Okay, so that's the problem. So your summit theme is focused on the problem. Now, the speakers that you are inviting, they might be speaking, they're not going to necessarily talk about what you're talking about.
Right.
Your point of view is that changing the mindset, and that's wonderful and that's beautiful. But what you want to do, you want to gather up people. Your mission in this summit is to gather up people who are interested, who have a problem that you have a solution for. Okay. So the speakers that you invite might have a multitude of other solutions. You might invite speakers who talk about hormones or veganism, or just any of they might say that the thing to do when everything else fails is go on a raw food diet. Awesome. That's great. So now their audience are all the people that are from their audience that have signed up for your summit. They came from that speaker's list. So they're primarily interested in raw food. But now as they go through and hear you and your point of view and all the other guest speakers that you have, their points of view, they're going to get their mind expanded a little bit. And they're going to say, oh, maybe raw food isn't the only way to lose weight when everything else has failed. Maybe it's hypnosis. If you have a hypnosis speaker, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Do you see what I'm saying? But what you have done at the end of the summit is, you have gathered together a bunch of people who are all interested in one common problem that you just happen to have a solution for, and that is weight loss. So does that make sense?
Okay. It's actually how to effect change in that case, rather than just weight loss, because weight loss then becomes just one part of it.
Right. No, that's great. That's totally great. And all of that is still part of the solution. But what we're doing, so at this phase, when you're list building, you're trying to find the people who have a problem that you can solve. So you're at this point, their mind, they're not focused on the solution. They're not going to find the solution until they pay you some money and get your coaching and understand what to do. But you've got to find those people that are having this problem, that if you get in front of them and say, hey, here's a solution, they're going to go, oh yeah, some of them are and some of them aren't. But do you get that? So the theme then is going to be more focused on the problem, not your solution. Yeah. Think in terms of the problem.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps.
Beautiful. You're so welcome, Rena. Thank you for being my first guest to show their face on this. This is fantastic.
Thank you for allowing me.
What's that?
Thank you for allowing me.
Oh, it's great. Now I'm all ready to like just put everybody on here. Who wants to go next? No. All right. So let me read through my chats here. See, there's something from Adam here. So I'm a little slow reader. So give me a minute. So Adam says, I've not started actively coaching or consulting yet, kind of stuck between focusing on 2 or 3 niches, but I know I should pick one and focus on at least one in the beginning. So what is your method to narrow down exactly what niche to focus on? Love it. That's a great, great, great question. And Adam, you are the perfect candidate for a telesummit. In fact, it's the telesummit that will help you narrow that niche. So going back to what I was saying to Rena, by focusing on the problem, so we get so focused on the niche and the solution and my program and this and that and that and this, before you can even begin to start attracting people to you, you have to really think of the problem that you're solving. So, and the great thing about a telesummit is that you can play around with different niches. Like if you're talking about entirely different audiences, you can do one summit on one niche to one audience and another one. I mean, I know somebody who did, they ran like 2 or 3 summits on business. And then she just switched gears and she decided she wanted to run a summit on spirituality. That's what it was. It was spirituality. I mean, it's just completely different. And she built a list all around spirituality. And meanwhile, she had this other huge list of people, you know, she's a business coach actually. And she has this, you know, huge list of people who are interested in business and are great candidates for her business programs. But she also, at any point now, she has a list of people who are interested in spirituality. So at any point, she could develop a program that for those people and sell to that list because she's got the list now. So it's a perfect way. So what I would say to you, Adam, is you know, when you're just starting out, if they're so different, if they're close enough that you can combine them, great. A telesummit will help tease that out for you. But if they're just so different, I would go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and do your first summit on whichever one. And what I really like to tell people to do is do your summit on something that you are very passionate and curious about. Curious, something that you want to know more about, because you will learn so much by doing the summit. You'll meet more people, you'll get more points of view. It's absolutely brilliant. So that, you know, really it's as much a learning process for you. So, and you'll end up with a summit that's far more engaging if it's something that you are really passionate about. So that's why I have been hosting, all my summits have been around business freedom because I'm really passionate about it. And I am absolutely floored at how much, I mean, I just keep learning more and more. I mean, you would think business freedom, how that's not very complicated, right? But every summit that I do, I learn more and more. Now, I've recently become very interested in sales and the sales process. So my next summit is going to be on sales. And I'm going to host a whole bunch of people, experts who are experts in sales, to really talk about that whole sales process and enrollment and how to get people off the fence and how to handle objections and all this stuff, because I'm really interested in that now. And it dovetails, it ties into, you know, my list that I'm currently building as well. So you can pick summits on all different topics, but really one of the key ingredients is your passion and curiosity, where you have a passion to learn more about it. Okay. Daniel, let's see, another question. How do you find out how big the perspective? Oh, I love this question. I get this almost every time and I always forget to include it in the slideshow. So Daniel wants to know, how do you find out how big a prospective expert's list is? Or even if they have a list, you're welcome, Adam. And the answer is you ask them. That is part of the pre-interview conversation. That's part of the vetting process. And really, they get it. So if you remember back on the win-win-win slide, I think a lot of people go in asking experts feeling like they're on the down low, like, oh, won't you please do this for me? You know, And that's an energy, even in sales, that will not, oh gosh, won't you please be my client? I know I don't deserve it. And, you know, that's not going to get you clients. nor is it going to get you experts to speak on your summit. So really, you have to stand in your power and know that you are providing a very valuable service to these experts, because you are doing all the footwork, all the organizing, the planning, the whole bit. You're leveraging your time. It doesn't cost very much money, but you're leveraging your time to put this event together, and you are exposing them to the lists of all these other experts. And so that is something that's very valuable to them. I mean, now that I'm being asked to be on be an interviewee on other people's summits, now that my list is large enough that I'm asked to be a guest, that's the word, a guest on other people's summits. I mean, it's brilliant. I get on the phone, and it's like a half an hour chat on the phone. I send them my bio and my picture and a free gift. And, couple weeks later, when the summit runs, I got a couple of hundred fresh leads, that are people that actually sat and listened to my interview, because that's the only way I'm going to get their email, is if they actually sat and listened to my interview. So they're already familiar with me. But yes, you are offering something of value to them, and they get this. Okay. So, and they know, and it's sort of like, I have to know for promotional purposes I have to ask you what your list size is. And they get it, because, that's part of your job as the host of a summit, is to hold the integrity of the summit. So your promise to all the experts that participate is that they are going to be promoted or exposed to all these other experts with comparable list sizes. Okay. So if you have, 5 experts that have 10,000 people on their list, and then one that has 200, that's not really fair to the experts that have 10,000. And the person that has 100, they'll get that. They get it. It's like, I know I don't have really anything to give in exchange at this point. So I got an idea. You should do your own telesummit, right? That's what I would say to that person that just has 100 people. But yeah, so you just plain and simply ask them. All right, any other questions? You guys are so much fun. This is fun, isn't it? Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Wait. Oh, I see. I got to shut up for you to be able to come on camera. I get it.
So, as I was saying in the chat, my primary challenge is really the value to those who I would invite to be interviewed is really altruistic for them. And I think most of the experts would be comfortable with that. I was just making some notes about how the problem shows up for the industry, which they would be more aligned with per se than a problem for themselves. And the problem in the industry, I think, is that most professionals are quite technically strong, but lack in other skills. And the advancement of the industry is resting on the ability to have professionals gain skills beyond technical expertise.
Okay, so what are these people? What's keeping them up at night?
The experts, or the people that I would want to secure as clients?
The people you would want to secure as clients.
The lack of advancement in their career.
Okay. So,
not knowing what the next best move is.
Okay, great. So these people then, so that's the problem. So lack of advancement in the career. So you could definitely host a summit around a topic of, how to move up, what to do when your career is dead and whatever. You see what I'm saying? So, again, it's the problem. There's the problem that's going to attract people, right? It's the problem that's going to attract people. And then the experts that you're going to invite. So do you only coach people that are in that specific area?
No, I don't, but I own a business where other coaches have come from that industry, engineering and environmental, and then became coaches. So I have sort of 2 tracks. I have my private coaching, which is a different set of individuals. And then I have the company that I own, which is the one that I would do the telesummit for.
Okay. Your coaching is basically the one that you would want to do the telesummit around, is basically around career coaching. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
Good. Okay. So then what you could do, and it doesn't need to be people, the engineers or whatever, but they probably just happen to be the ones that you attract the most of.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So what you could do is then create a summit around career advancement. And there are a number of different people who would speak to career advancement. The obvious thing is business coaches, life coaches, career advancement. You could talk to, if anybody has any ideas, just throw them out there. Where, if you're having trouble advancing your career, where might you go? What kind of an expert would you go to? So the business and life is pretty obvious. I'm asking this question because sometimes you can really step outside the box and get some really creative things. So, for example, I have a client, had a client who is a life coach, and she focused on people who were looking to find a purpose in their life. And so her summit was mostly featuring life coaches and some business coaches and things like that. And I went to a talk that was given by an astrologist, and sometimes I'm a little thick-headed because it took me about halfway through that talk before I realized that the title of that talk was How to Find Purpose in Your Life Through the Stars. And it's like, duh. So she actually, I went up and talked to the speaker at the end of the talk and asked her if she'd be interested in doing this telesummit, and she was. And she ended up bringing probably the most opt-ins into this client's summit, but they were from an astrologist. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
So if you can think outside the box that way and just think of who. So what you want to think about is who. So you have the problem. Your problem is career advancement. So that's what's keeping your client up at night. Now, where might they go for possible solutions? What kind of experts? And those are the experts that you would invite. Do you get that?
Okay, I do. I follow you. Yeah.
And that's where you're going to find your ideal clients, because all those people are interested in career advancement, right? They're telling you, shoot, this is keeping me up at night. This is a big problem for me. This is keeping me up at night. And I don't know who to go to, where to go, but it's enough of a problem that I'm going to opt in for this telesummit and get all these interviews so that I can sort this out. Yeah.
So within the niche of the engineering and environmental community, because coaching has not really infiltrated that quite so much just yet, but I'm working on it. The where people go for expert advice is really insular. It's within their own organization. And so my original plan was to go to leaders in the industry of several of the larger firms who I have contacts with because I came from that industry, and invite them to this telesummit in support of the industry, which I believe they would do. But there wouldn't be, the challenge would then be that their company or whomever they work for, quote unquote, owns their list. So while I think they might forward the promotion, there may be some hesitancy on their part to maybe make it a, let's say they have, 10,000 people in their company, they may only forward it to a handful of groups versus sort of a broader, a bigger broadcast.
That's not really the model for the telesummit, getting organizations to pass out information like that to their list. That's like kind of a whole different thing. And really, I would really invite you to step back from the niche. I think as business coaches, we've really targeted people into these niches. Go out and find, you've done a great job. You have like this engineering niche and you've identified a problem. But if you realize that a problem, I mean, do you really care if your client is an engineer or if they're a dog trainer, right?
No, I don't. And whoever commented earlier about, you had several choices of a niche and how do you choose? And I stayed in that space for maybe 2 years as I just continued in my private practice and saw who was sort of drawn to me. And my client base is probably split maybe 50-50. And so there's just an opportunity there because nobody owns the market yet. And I know a number of really fabulous coaches who also came from that industry. So it's just a way to sort of break in and own the market where there's definitely a need, because they really don't look outside of their own organizations for support.
Right. And then the question always becomes, is it a burning need for them?
Right. I completely get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm saying, I think niches serve a purpose, but if they can also sometimes really stifle you, and we get too hung up. Now, and here's the thing. Here's what I love about finding your niche through a list build, as opposed to what you did is you said, wow, here's this incredible niche that's untapped. Let me go after that. Right. That's
Right.
what, as
Mhm.
that's as business coaches, how we for many years were, suggesting that people do things. So the problem with that is that you don't really know that this is something they really want.
Right.
Maybe what they really want is good dog training or something. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No, I follow you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the difference is that when you are reaching out to a large audience of people and just organically attracting them, as you will through a telesummit, then what I do is I look back and you ask those people, who are you people? And right, who have I just
Right.
attracted? And that's your ideal client. And you'll find, because you have a much broader cross section of people, not broad, what am I trying to say? You have more people. You have a
Right.
larger sampling of people that you can really see. And now then the whole advantage to niching becomes, once you've done that, and out of thousands of people, you realize that, gosh, about 75% of the people I'm attracting are all engineers. Okay, now a niche becomes very important, because now you want to speak to those people, because the more that they think that you get them, the more people like them you're going to attract.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
the difference is, the difference here is difference between me saying, I'm going to go after you, and instead saying, okay, here, I have a problem that I can solve, and there's a whole bunch of different people that this problem will be a solution for, who resonates with me and wants me to help them solve their problem. And then you circle back and say, who are you people? Oh, that's my niche. Okay, now I know how to message you and talk to you and further develop that niche.
Yeah, I follow you. No, I completely follow you, and certainly was in that space. And in all transparency, didn't start this business thinking that would be my niche. Actually wanted to run from it after 20 years in that industry, and then found that it was naturally and organically coming to me. And so now I'm just looking to a strategic way to leverage that. I am going to step back, though. I appreciate that advice, to sort of step back and look at the application of the model of the telesummit and see if that needs to be modified, or if I need to take a different approach for
I think the telesummit would be a great thing for you, especially anybody who's wondering about niches and, is in that space where, you haven't really completely identified, who, and you'll know. And how will you know when you've totally completely identified your niche and this is working for you? Your bank account will tell you.
Right.
That is absolutely how you will know. So a telesummit would be a great thing for you, because, like I said, you'll be able to reach a lot more people. So you'll have a lot larger sampling, and you might be surprised when you actually open the doors that way at the different people that you'll be attracting.
Great. Okay, great. Thanks for your time.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. All right. So I'm going to look back at the chat now. Okay. I see some big words here. Psychosomatic physician. All right. So wait a minute. Adam, I noticed this question earlier. Does list building apply to corporate clients also, or would you say it primarily applies to individual consumers? So corporate clients, so it's an individual who is going to opt in for a summit. So corporate, so the people that opt in for summits, some of them are CEOs, some of them are CFOs, some of them are house moms, whatever. But if you're looking specifically if your target market is corporations, then I don't think the telesummit is the best, because it would be really difficult to just find. And if you have an idea, this is just my off the cuff kind of thinking, that it would be hard to find, CEOs, like whose list do they subscribe to? And I don't know that it's individuals that sign up for a telesummit. And so invariably it's individuals that you'll be reaching out to, and it's easier to contact. So I'm a little shaky on that one. I would tend to say more is for individuals than if you are seeking a corporate client. But there's, as my husband's grandmother used to say, there's a whole world could be made from what I don't know. And I'm sure somebody has an idea somewhere on how they could reach all those people in a telesummit. It's just not coming to me at the time. All right, so let's see. Daniel says, I have a celebrity expert, a psychosomatic physician who hardly has an email list, but a very large Oh, good, Daniel. Thanks for bringing up Facebook. He's a very popular summit expert, will not send out an email, but will only post on Facebook. Any advice? You won't get anything from Facebook, I'll tell you right now. So my advice to you is that it is completely up to you if you want to have that expert. Now, a lot of times what we'll do is have what we call an anchor expert. So you say he's a celebrity. And so if this only you will know about your niche. So if the person is of high enough caliber that like other experts are going to sign up because he is on the summit, then it's okay for them not to mail, right? And if you're going to get signups because so-and-so's on. So for example, like if Deepak Chopra said he would be on my summit, if he doesn't mail, that's fine. Who cares? Because can you imagine everybody that's going to want to jump on my summit because Deepak Chopra is on it? Not only the other guests, but also participants. It's going to be easy breezy to sell that. So that's what we call an anchor. So it's okay to have one anchor, maybe two at the most. But only you can know if can answer that question, if they're a real celebrity and if they're really going to have that kind of draw. And if they're not, then it's a lot of work for you to go through. And again, it's your job as the host to hold the integrity of this event to the other people. And I can't tell you, now I have tested this. I have tested this over and over again because I fall for people that say, oh, I only have, 1,000 on my list or whatever, but I have this huge Facebook following and they're really engaged. I swear they're really engaged. Every single time, without fail, every time, it's just not the case. You just don't get, people just don't opt in for stuff as much on Facebook rather. Emails is where, if you think about it, somebody that's on an email list is far more engaged than somebody that's, a Facebook follower, because you giving up something of value when you're giving up your email list to somebody. And as soon as they pester you and you're over them and you don't think that they're really enriching your life any, boom, you're going to pop off their email list. Whereas a Facebook following, whatever, who cares? I'm probably on so many different, I know I'm on so many different fan pages and it doesn't do anything. And sometimes they come up in my news feed and if I get really annoyed, I'll, say, I don't want to see this anymore. But people are not really, it's really hard to get people to engage and to take action from Facebook unless it's in specific advertising, where again, you are specifically targeting somebody's problem. That's why Facebook advertising works and the free stuff doesn't so much. So anything else? Let's see, looking at the niche from that perspective, you just said is very helpful. Oh, you're very welcome, Adam. I'm glad I can help. Is anybody else want to get on camera and ask some questions on camera? That was kind of fun. Thank you, Rena and Lisa. I appreciate both of you for being brave enough and coming on camera like that. Is there anybody else? I see that we're at 4:38 now. So, and I did promise I would stay here till you have all your questions and questions answered, and I'm happy to keep staying. I just want to be respectful of your time. So Oh, and I'm so sorry, Karen. I never got to your question. If you're still there, Karen had asked, how about advice on verbal, emotional, nonverbal mental abuse in an empty wives club? So that might be a topic around a problem, somebody who's having a problem in a marriage, for example, who is feeling abused in a marriage. So the topic for that summit might be, and it's I have a client who's actually just putting together a summit on around that topic. It's not so much focused on verbal, emotional, or any kind of specific abuse. It's more around the topic of how do you know when it's time to give the guy the boot or give the girl the boot? How do you know when it's time to give him the boot and move on? We're trying to come up with a good title for that now. That's basically the topic is, how do you know when it's time to leave the schmuck or the schmuckette? What you're talking about, Karen, might fall under that sort of a thing. So these are all great questions. Really, really good. All right. So I'm just scrolling down to make sure I haven't missed anything. And I hope that the coaching I did with Rena and Lisa help others as well. So you can see that really the trick is to focus on the problem. And one of the places that people go sideways in their summit is that they're so intent on wanting to get their point of view out. And that's not really what we're doing in the summit. If anything, you're diving into other people's points of view, your experts' points of view. Once you have built that list, which is to say, once you've actually promoted and had your summit, you will then be the proud owner of a shiny new list. But once you have actually done that, then you can start connecting and communicating with your audience. And that's when you express your point of view and, start working that angle. But the summit itself is focused on the problem and the experts that you're inviting. You're looking at all different aspects of the problem, all different ways to approach this one problem. All right. I don't see any other questions coming up. You guys have all been fantastic. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here and your time. We can even set up a time to chat. So if you go to this URL, the Business freedomplan.com. So you can also just go to this URL right here, the businessfreedomplan.com. That's an application for a freedom business planning session, a clarity session. And I'm happy to extend that to anybody that was on this webinar as an extra bonus for sticking through to the very end and asking such phenomenal questions. You can just fill out an application. The application just gives me an idea of what your business is and what you're struggling with so that we can really dive in this session and just cut right to the chase. And if you want to explore the whole theme issue, or have any other questions about the Telesummit or anything in your business, really, I'm more than happy to help you with that. So it's been fantastic connecting with all of you. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you and meeting you all in the future. So with no further ado, I think we have no more questions. I'm just doing a last check. I don't see any. And I just want to say again, thank you to everybody. Ciao for now.